Hello everyone. Today I'd like to show you okay, this isn't strictly true, but I'd like to show you what free energy looks like. I'd like to be able to show you that, but I'm gonna show you what I'm producing off these two coils and the ones in the middle. If you watch the last video, you'll see I couldn't get very much bulb to light. I've started again with a fully charged battery for my Bedini, fully charged primary, charging a secondary. Yeah, so have a look at this. I'm going to turn the light off. There you go. That's 3 LEDs. Woo! Being lit from my caps, and they are nice and bright. I see them on the desk if I shield it. There you go. Nice and bright. That's 3 LEDs. I started with 1 and then 2, and it runs 3. They're all the same brightness. 3.58 volts sat in each cap. Primary battery driving at 12.33, secondary sitting at 11.88. So there you have it. Looking good. Producing some light. I reckon the next stage is to make some bigger coils, much bigger. 1,000 winds, huge ones, big fat coils, and then I'll really be pulling in some volts. Hopefully, if you can fit it, the space there is around here, if I squeezed loads of them together, at the minute you can see there's clearly room, I'll show you, for another 3, one here, another here, and another, sorry, there, in the gaps. There's clearly room for another 3, but I reckon you can squeeze more in than that if you really touch them up. Really touch them up together. You could probably fit 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. 6 magnets running around the middle, 7 coils on the outside. And if you put 1,000 winds on each of them, God knows what you'd be pulling in. So I think that's really the next step. I'm gonna have to, build a coil winder, because these are all hand. This terrible coil here that produces hardly anything, my first extraction coil, produces nothing. So I need to get some spools and lots more magnetic wire, which is just copper wire with a coating, and really wind some big coils. I think that's the way to go. Skeptic 33 suggested using another bifilar wound coil as a transformer to transform the voltage coming out of these caps up to somewhere near a 12 to go into here. Although it's a great idea, I really can't be arsed with doing the calculations for winding a transformer coil, and actually the work involved in winding a transformer coil. There's so much I have to wind it specifically for the voltage coming out of here to be ramped up to the 12-13 volts necessary to charge one of those batteries. I'd rather just, instead of doing those complex calculations and that, which will take too much time, the time I'd done that, I could have wound you know, lots more 1,000 wind thick coils and be feeding them into my collection system. You know, and these exterior coils are definitely a much better idea, a much better extraction method than the ones inside here. The only reason they're in there is because of the way the Bedini started, with its tape motor, and that's always been the base. So I figured as they're in there, may as well use them. But they really generate negligible amounts of power, but every little helps, so I'll leave them in there. Plus, I'd been asking if anyone can tell me why mine's consuming roughly double what everyone else is at 450 milliamps. I can get it down to about 430 with really good tuning, but I think that may be due to some interference with this ring of magnets. It may be something to do with the fact I've got 6 magnets in such a small space. This is only, you know, my index finger in width, whereas everyone else will fit quite a few on a huge bike wheel. So whether or not, if I reduce this, again, it's a lot of work to take all the super glue off and redesign the plastic pylons attached off the tape wheel. But if I put 4 on, if I just ripped 3 off and had 3, that might work. 3 magnets. But everybody else seems to use 4 quite well. So if I move to 4, then maybe I'll use less. Well, it seems to reason because I'll trigger less and therefore pulse less. But will I lose speed from that and therefore some of my generation? Now, really quickly, before the end of the video, I'm going to have a look at how much the motor's consuming real quick. Just get my probes into position. See, even though these LEDs are taking nothing to light and aren't therefore really that much of a load on the caps, we're still consuming. Right, let me see if I can tune it down. Yeah, I can tune it down. Oh, very much so. Well, since I'm using these LEDs, the potentiometer, the tuning pot, has become a lot more sensitive, a lot more. There's a point here where I'm now consuming 355 milliamps, 320. I mean, I've lost a lot of speed, but 290, 280. I mean, I'm decreasing speed. It never did this before. This is unusual. My pot's become really variable. And I can indeed get down to 200 less than that 190 now. Still spinning though. I reckon it might stop soon. But I'm 183 milliamps going down. Yeah, it's gonna. I think there it is, the point where it's not going to slow down anymore. 190 milliamps. But the bulbs are very dim now. It's obviously generating less because it's spinning less. It may have been doing over 1,000 RPM before. It's now doing 700 RPM. So it'll be generating less. If I turn it up to increase its speed and the brightness of the bulbs. Okay, 330 milliamps climbing. Right. See, the bulbs are again bright and it's only consuming 320 milliamps. Promising. See you now.